What's good, guys? You're watching the Solis music channel. Shout out to all my fans. I had posted on IG that I wanted to do a Q&A, a quarantine and answer, and a lot of people sent in a lot of questions, so we're gonna get into it. During these times of quarantine, I hope everybody's staying safe. I hope everybody's staying healthy. I hope this video entertains you. Share it, click subscribe, like it, put a comment, go follow my IG, go follow my Twitter, go follow Send Me Beats on email. Let's get into these questions.
Take me to paradise. I found it inside of your heart, my love. You can't rewind. Your love and my love. I know you can't be mine.
At Legendary Fungueo, I just want to know how the name Solis came about, or is that your real name? My first rapper name was Intel, and I had ran into another Intel on Instagram. And it just so happened that this Intel was Method Man's nephew. So this was around the time that I was trying to put out my first project. And when I was going to put my first project out, I seen his catalog and it was like very extensive, and I just didn't want to compete with that name. You know what I mean? Especially him having a major artist behind him. So I figured, what would be the next name that could kind of represent what Intel was? You know, like Intel meaning, you know, intelligent, you know, smart. And I figured light was the one thing that everybody seems to associate knowledge and wisdom with. So I try to figure out a cool way to say that. So I named myself the sun, which is Solis. At Chavidu, how many times do you practice to do the fast raps that you do? I don't practice at all.
I'm thinking he better than me, and I think like it wouldn't be better than me in his next life. I'm a little bit of an Attila, the baby gorilla, my chest is this mic.
But when I was younger, I was really into a lot of Eminem and a lot of like Cannabis and all these fast rappers. And I made sure that every time they had something, I memorized word for word and that I could pronounce each word precisely. And I think that carried on into my writing, and it just led to me being able to rap fast. At No Limit Kid, what type of music did you get influenced by that made you want to start making music? Music didn't inspire me to write. It was actually my cousin. He's the one that told me, like, yo, you need to try this out, blah, blah, blah. And I did it, and I fell in love with it. But the music that influences me now, that'd be like reggae, of course, hip-hop, R&B, jazz, all that nice stuff. Lo-fi, too, that's the new shit. At Dantes Aaron Henry, what are you discovering about yourself in these times of quarantine? I think artists often live their life for the next thing, you know what I mean? You want to figure out the marketing scheme. You need to figure out where you're going to perform and how you're going to get the attention of this person or this person. And I think for a lot of people, quarantine kind of slowed that down. But I still know rappers who are trying to the next thing. And I think for me, it's like I always decide to put family in the mix, you know what I mean? And I think now I'm learning to live in the moment as opposed to the next thing. At Jay Helzer, what books are you reading right now? Right now, I'm trying to get some spiritual sense. So I'm reading the Old Testament, the New Testament, the lost books of the Bible, the Zohar. On the side, I have The Secret Life of Plants. But there's dozens of books that I've read. You know, right now I'm really trying to focus on spirituality and trying to figure the answers out for that. At Jarena Joshua, what is your take on the coronavirus? Conspiracy? I know people who've had it, so I can't say it's a conspiracy, so to say. It's not something that's fake. It's very real. But is it man-made? Yes. At Tyrese Seathel, is your absolute main goal to move to Jamaica? I know where they got this question from. That was from the song Birth.
You could call me a petty dude, but this life we live is a lie. If I don't make it by 22, I'll be homeless by 25. For those 3 years in between, I'll be working this 9 to 5, stacking paper to see Jamaica, then climb to the mountainside.
No, main goal is not to move to Jamaica. The whole Birth song was kind of just maybe like a parable for who I am. You know what I mean? Like I don't necessarily live this capitalistic lifestyle or the average lifestyle in America. Like I see my life being something completely different. So if my goal is anything, the idea of moving to Jamaica was being able to find peace and be more in tune with nature as opposed to the concrete jungle. At Michael Finch, who have been your spiritual teachers / guidance, if any? I think everybody that you come in contact with is a spiritual teacher, because every time you come in contact with somebody, you have something that you're gonna learn, something that you're gonna talk to this person. It could even be an interaction. You could bump into them. Something can happen, and you automatically have an epiphany or something clicks, and that's a moment that builds upon something. You know what I mean? But if we're talking leaders, possibly Yeshua, Christ, the guy on my t-shirt, Pedro Albizu Campos. There's people like Sadhguru. There's many people. At Chavidu, do you have any tattoos? If so, what do they mean? No tats. No tats whatsoever. All right, we're going to jump into the rapid fire questions real quick. Top 5 MCs of all time. I'm going to go Nas, Eminem, fuck it, Jay-Z, Big Pun, Big L. Top 5 artists right now. Let's say fuck mainstream. We're going to go T.Y., Taj, Jay Wonder, Samaj Savage, Rio Quest. There's a lot of people that I'm missing, and I love you all. Do you love Nicole Tellez? Yes or no? My girlfriend. Yes, I love you. Favorite color? Black. If black is not a color, white. If white is not a color, red. If red is not a color, you're bugging. Favorite food? Seafood. Favorite movie? Off top, I'm gonna just say Godfather 1 or 2. Favorite TV show? I think there's 2 types of TV shows. There's like the Grey's Anatomy ones, and then there's like the Fresh Princes. If we're gonna do Fresh Princes, mine is gonna be Martin. If we're gonna do Grey's Anatomy type shows, then it's Grey's Anatomy. What anime? Favorite anime? Fuck. The Alchemist Brotherhood. Or Brotherhood Alchemist. I forgot how it was called. Favorite cartoon? Bugs Bunny. Who did you see in your first concert? Kanye West. This is right before he had like that mental breakdown. So like he finished his performance and then lights went off, lights came back on, he was gone, and it just didn't feel like a real concert at that moment. How tall are you? 5'9". Have you ever let anyone straighten your hair? If so, can we see a pic? Never let anybody straighten my hair. Probably never will. Lying. I will. But I think I'm gonna cut it. So like probably the week before I cut it, I'll straighten it out, see what it looks like and how long it is. And what software do you use to make music? Any recommendations? I use Pro Tools. I don't know any other type of software, so I can't really give any recommendations, but I know that Pro Tools is like the industry standard. It's all good, we have cats in the crib. All right, let's jump right back into these questions. At Chavidu, how long does it take you to write a song? To write a song, I could never write a song in one sitting. I only did that one time, and that was a song called Suspect, back when I was called Intel, and that song is 5 minutes long. I remember waking up at 10 in the morning, possibly started writing around 10:30 or 11, and I didn't finish the song till 11 p.m. So, what is that, like 12 hours? Yeah, something like that, if we're doing one sitting, but usually it takes couple weeks, a month. There's really no time. Sometimes I write a song and then don't come back to it for a year, which was Solo. At Chavidu, what song did you have the most fun creating, and what song was the most troublesome to create? The most fun song creating was possibly Burn It Down.
That explains why history don't seem to bring euphoria. It's plain as day, so front to face, I peeped it through my cornea. We don't follow law, we follow in the Rastafaria. To treat the green like it's a forest in California. And burn it down, burn it down, burn it down, baby, burn it down.
I remember writing it in the crib, I recorded it, and then I put on some headphones, took my cousin's bike and biked myself like 30 streets up and then 30 streets back down. Just listening to what I could change and what I want to change differently about what I'm saying or any edits. So I think that was fun because I never did that with any other song. The most troublesome song was off the project, The Good People EP, and it was the first song called Run.
Peep how they deceive us. Peep the ones you call leaders. They shot us to claim we were militant. Time to give hypercriticism to the hypocrite. A government is born and they claim to be sufficient. And I can see the horns, but they claim to be innocent. Till I get an award, I'm pointing out the illicit and inconsiderate politician gifted in diligence. A minute of your silence is needed. I cried and I tried, but they died as I pleaded.
And I had spent over $1,000 doing that one song because I couldn't get the hook right. And I remember going to sessions, trying to do the hooks for 2 hours, not getting anything down, and then looking at my guy like, I give up. You know what I mean? But he kept pushing me. Shout out to my boy Joe Fuego. And he told me like, yo, you got it. Just keep coming. And it did come one time. It did come. That last session that we had, I think it was like the 5th one. I finally nailed that. But that was the most troublesome song I ever had to do. Which artist would you consider to look at for inspiration? Right now, an artist that I would look at for inspiration is definitely Bob Marley, even though he's not around anymore, you know. But today, it'd be J. Cole, Kendrick, you know. I admire artists that have that, isolation factor and staying true to themselves. At Crown 128, shout out my boy Taj. Top 3 tools or practices you use to clear your mind. I would either pray, take a walk, or what would be the third one? Reading books gets my mind off of a lot of stuff. It's kind of like a stress reliever. Or writing. Writing could be one of those. Clear your mind though. Shit. Going for a walk and family time. Family time definitely seals the deal. At Chavi do you have merch ideas coming up for sale? I definitely have merch ideas. I got a new song coming up. Not giving you the name. Sorry. But I do want to put some merch out for that one song. Like some specific stuff, you know? Yeah, I don't want to give any ideas, but there's def merch coming. At Jericho Isaiah, can anyone disprove fate if everything happens for a reason? This question is jam-packed. All right. Fate. If everything happens for a reason, if you're describing everything happens for a reason as like nature, like it rains for a reason because the plants need food, the plants grow so that the animals can eat, you know, if that's what we're talking about as in everything happens for a reason, then I think it applies everywhere. Fate, I think, is malleable. So the earth is in a perfect spot, the sun is in a perfect spot, and once something begins, the fate is set. So it's automatically fate that Earth is going to develop an ocean, trees, and animals. But what types of animals, we don't know. It's up to randomness. But fate says that things would be here. Fate says that rain would fall. Do we know when? Not necessarily. But it will at some point. Tornadoes will happen. That's fate. But we just don't know the exact time. And I think for humans, it's the same thing. You're born and the fate is sealed when you realize your parents are a certain type of way and the people around you are a certain type of way and the environment that you grew up in is a certain type of way. But when those things will happen, that's ultimately up to you as an individual.
Bro, I've never hated you so much in my life. Never.
At Most Beats, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I could see my life going 2 ways. One, as a successful artist, or 2, an artist working a 9-to-5 every day. So that could be either or that I see myself in 10 years. And I don't know. I don't think I'd be too upset about any one of those. You know what I mean? I'm still alive. At Sad Bunny Baby, when do you think you'll feel satisfied with what you've done? What to you proves you've reached success? I think I am satisfied with what I've done so far. You know, like I'm only 22. And I think for a 22-year-old and the things that I've done, it's always been from my heart. So I can't say that anything I've done up to this point is something that I wouldn't be satisfied with. You know, like I got a good amount of songs that I've put out into the world for people to understand my message, for people to understand who I am to a certain extent, at least that part of me. In life, success could go many ways. It always depends on the individual. But my success is every day. Every day is a success. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I make the music that I want. I'm surrounded by family that I love. And I'm not doing anything necessarily that's against my character. You know what I mean? So every day is a success. And in terms of a long, you know, if I could look back at the end of my life and say, oh, I've been successful, you know, I'd eventually want in the future to grow my own food and be able to make the music that I want to make without having to feel the stresses of, you know, a 9-to-5 job or corporate. But even though I may not have that in my future, or if it doesn't occur, that doesn't mean that my life was unsuccessful. I think to say at the end of my time and look back at my life and say that it was unsuccessful, that'd be discrediting the blessing of my life that I had. And those were the 20 plus questions that y'all sent in from IG. So thank everybody who participated. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully we'll have some more for you.
Look, you see my mind is twisted, sick inside. Pens of mine is written rhymes, liquefied to lift me high like I put 5 in it. For the bucks and bills we live to die, and I'd love it to give you mine, but I need it to get me by. I can live or die.